It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived to know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. What's going on, everybody? Coffee Q&A. How's it going? I wanted to share with you a little bit of this poem here from our coffee that we do every. What is going on? Are we getting bad? Are we getting bad again? What? How's the feed? Look, it looks terrible again. It looks terrible. What is going on here? Okay, I'm. Welcome back to the Coffee Q&A, your daily dose of coffee Q&A here on the OnoCoffee channel. I'm your host. We're here most Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern, and we're choppy again. Why we're choppy again? Okay, I'm going to see if we can jump networks. Hopefully we don't lose the whole YouTube series. Some of the connection's unstable. Please wait while we try. Once they get this, should be a little bit smoother. Anyway, so today I thought that I would share with you a little bit of that poem from Edgar Allan Poe, who is one of Baltimore's favored sons, even though he was like a very dark, brooding kind of character. But that's kind of typical for Baltimore. You know, Baltimore has quirky characters that no one really understands. And he lived many, many years, of course, in the 1800s. 1800s. And he wrote this poem called the Annabel Lee. And I've always loved coffee that we do every Valentine's Day. And this is our Annabel Lee. This is our Valentine's Day coffee. And it is an homage to Annabel Lee. And as you can see here, there's an image of a young woman who's actually my crush from 1987. We met on this day that I took this picture of her. She's from France and was visiting Baltimore with her friend, and I found the picture and I thought, oh, you know what? Let me. When I decided to do this yearly coffee release, I thought, let me use her photo in it, and just kind of an homage to her. Kind of a nice thing. And so why am I using this today? So I figured we'd share this with you today. I decided to, since we haven't had the Hamden shop for a while, I haven't really made this on a yearly basis, but I thought, let me make it this year. And we're going to do a small batch, and I'm going to have this heart cup of Kiti-chan, and this is going to be our February giveaway. So we're going to give this set away today to one of you, if you're interested. We're going to do that a little bit later, and yeah, hopefully the feed is not so choppy. Well, that's a confession. Does she know you use that pic? No, I you know what? We lost touch back in the 80s, so I have no idea where she is today or what she's doing. Hopefully she's still around. I have had a couple girlfriends that have passed away, sad to say. Peter's with us. What's going on, Peter? So but I thought that I would share this with you, and we're gonna brew the coffee, try it out. It's Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day. Hope you get to enjoy it with someone that you care for and someone that hopefully someone that you love, or someone that you hope to love, right? Maybe a little champagne and some strawberries and some whipped cream and maybe coffee if you don't have to have coffee. So what I did is I did take some of the coffee and I put this bag. We're going to brew it up and have a taste of it. Now every year it kind of changes, but this particular year I was kind of under this kind of exploration. So what I want to do is like, how can we make a coffee that's more of a blend? So taking this Brazilian natural decaf and then taking this El Salvadorian, the washed coffee we have from Santa Ana in Salvador, and mixing them together to create not necessarily a decaf coffee, but kind of a reduced caffeine coffee. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to play with, maybe to do it as both brewed and espresso. So I got some of the coffee here. This is the coffee that is the Annabel Lee this year. There really is no release of this. This will be pretty much the only release of this coffee at all. But as you can see here, here's the coffee itself. Obi-Wan Kenobi's with us. Good morning to you. By the way, Maku, thank you very much for that super chat. That's very kind. I really appreciate that. Mako was kind enough to drop a super chat right before we started because he loved the thumbnail or the caption of the thumbnail. So as you can see here, a little bit deeper roasted, so more of a medium roast. It looks a little bit darker on camera than it does in real life. Let me turn on the light here so you can see a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit more reflective of the color itself. And yeah, there it is. So that's our coffee. We're going to brew this up. And let's get our scale together. So, of course, we have our fellow Tally Pro SE model with a little dispenser. This, I never really talked about it, but this little dispenser. Okay, so you guys may have heard of some coffee companies in Japan. There's a place called, what is it called now? It's called Cafe Mameya in Omotesando. And the first time I went to Mameya a few years back, they were using these measuring cups as dispensers. And I thought that was for their coffees. And I was like, that's kind of cool. And so I found one at the kitchen store there, and I bought a couple. And these actually have like milliliter measurings here on the side. As you can see, there is 50, 75, 100, 125 on the side there. So I don't know. It's you can use it for liquids if you want. Okay, so we're going to put in 24 grams of coffee, of course. So like I said, if you're just joining us, we're going to give a bag of the Annabelle League. This is our Valentine's coffee and our Valentine's Kitty-chan mug as our giveaway this month. We're going to do that by the end of the show. And I'm going to send it out to you probably today as I send out all the other orders today. Oops, a little too much. 24.4. Okay, good. Good. Then it'll be time to get our Ode Gen 2. Is that right? Oops. Turn it on. There we go. And we're going to do a pour over. So we're going to leave our setting here just below the 6, as you can see. Paige, good morning to you as well. George says, my feed is still imperfect. You said that this blend is part decaf, but did you roast the beans together? We roasted them together. I tend to favor, well, I mean, it all depends on what I'm doing, but I generally tend to favor pre-roast blending, mainly because it's just, I find that I don't find, for the most part, I don't necessarily find too much benefit by roasting separately. And we've done both. I've done both of these, but it all depends on like what the intention is. So in this case, it is a pre-roast blend. So for today, we're going to, since it is a day of love and beauty, I was thinking, what kind of brewer can we use that would exude love and beauty? And the only one that really came to mind was the Benjerong ODZ. And as you guys know, this was something that Keone helped get for me while he was in Thailand, or because he lives in Thailand. And I do think this is the most lovely of coffee brewers made. And it was very kind enough to send me this Monet, this dripper holder that is resin encased flowers. I mean, if you're one of our regulars, you've seen these before, and you're not surprised by it because you're already familiar with the beauty, and it's just totally a beautiful, beautiful dripper. And if you're just seeing this for the very first time, ODZ is a company based in Bangkok, Thailand, and they have a very limited release of this particular style of brewer. I think there's only 150 pieces made or something like that. But this is what they call Benjerong style pottery, which is traditional Thai pottery, typically with only 3 colors. So as you can see here, we have a pink, we have a red, we have a white. And there's no other colors except for the gold, and there's always gold. It's really a beautiful, beautiful. I first learned about Benjerong style pottery my first real trip to Bangkok in 1996, and I bought one little tiny bowl that I still keep. Actually, it's what I use in my bathroom as my soap holder. Of all the things, we're not really giving it probably the greatest honor, but it actually has been with me for the last 20 some years, and it holds great honor in my world. And today we're going to be. George says the ODC is just gorgeous, but I know I totally worry about that too. Yeah, Kent, it really is. It really is. Like when I first saw this at the SCA show, they had a booth. I was like, oh man, I need to get it. And I was telling that to Keone one day, and he was like, I can get that. I can get those. I said, oh, can you? I said, all right, awesome. So he made all the arrangements. Very, 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 very glad for him to do that. Power Plant says video calls overnight. I know. I'm sorry that I know there's choppiness. I don't really have a control over that now. I've switched to tethering to the phone, so it goes as fast as I can get it. But I don't know what's going on. Like sometimes I just get this craziness with Comcast. Peter says Kitty-chan, but I'm more Gudetama. Just as lazy. Nice. So I thought we'd do a change, right? Instead of using our normal like V60 style brewers or filters, I thought let's use the Kalita 185 because it's kind of like that similar pattern. So this is the Kalita 185. I'm just gonna seat that in there. It doesn't really static camera, so it doesn't look as bad. Hopefully, how's the audio? Is the audio choppy as well, or is it just that? And here's the crazy thing. I mean, I wonder if I can run a speed test. All right, let's try this speed test. Okay, speed test from Google is showing me, oh, look at that. Download 95, 110, 107 megabits download. Telling me 22 up. How is that even possible? Why are we getting such terrible? It tells me it's getting 22.2 megabits upload speed, which have you lost it? Are we still there? Did we get disconnected? Peter says we lost transmission. Oh, we're back. Okay, good. Okay, so just waiting for the boiling. Is it good now? How do I look now? Am I still, I'm still, at least on my monitor, I can see that it's still choppy. I don't get what's going on here. And here's the thing, I restarted everything. Like everything shut off since we were on the road yesterday, everything was shut off since Wednesday after we had the last trouble. So, I don't know. Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi says, I still hear you. Oh, much better. Better than just in TV. Okay, good. It looks better than before. Okay, good. Looks better than it did. Okay. Are we still doing, it looks to me as though we're still choppy. I don't know why this choppiness is. Yeah, I don't understand. Maybe it's the computer. It looks way better. Okay. We're going to try to roll with it. I'll try to do more, these stable shots so it's not so like helter-skelter on me. But like I said, the idea behind this coffee was to see how would a blend with decaf go. So I used a little bit of decaf as well as a regular caffeinated coffee. Now, so it's kind of a natural and wash. I kind of like that blending of natural and wash. I've got a little bit of this natural decaf. So put that in. We're going to see what it's like. Actually, I haven't tasted it. We roasted this last week, and I haven't tasted it because I was you got to let the degassing happen. So that's what I've been waiting for. So we're going to try it, and then maybe next week we'll try it as espresso to see how it turns out. Power plant says naturally. I mean, it has natural. It's a natural process, but not a naturally not a natural occurring decaf. Like it's not a Laurinia. It's just I think it's a Caturra that they have decaffeinated. So it's a little bit just to make sure that it's like that we're getting it correctly. Audio. Oh, George says audio is fine, but my video keeps freezing. That's why I'm trying to keep it with this more static shot so that you don't see all this kind of herky jerky kind of motion. But we're about to brew, so the water's almost ready. Yeah, the water is boiling. Oh yeah. So the water is boiling. So I'm gonna pour it in here. And then now back to the brewing. So we have tiered it out. We have put the amount of coffee, 1 to 14, 1 to 14.5. There we go. We're going to reset that. Okay, now I think we're ready to go. We're going to brew. And here we go. So almost 80 grams for our first. We'll let that do its thing for the first 30 seconds. Power Plant says, tearing up my heart when yeah, I get it. That's good. That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. George says, I'm off for a bit, but I'll jump back in. All right, good. See you soon. So 30 seconds, we're going to bring it to about 100 grams, trying to keep all of the coffee saturated. A little bit over, 108, that's fine. Now that song is going to be in my mind all morning. Okay, we're gonna wait. We're gonna try to do for our normal, our kind of like normal approach, about 100 grams per minute. So we're coming up in the first minute. So and you can see it's kind of getting falling there. So let's make sure we get all of it nice and saturated. I like to keep everything saturated. I don't want to raise the bed too high. I want to keep it, kind of at the same level. You can see it's still kind of got a little bit of the degassing because the bloom is nice and strong on this one. So that's a positive thing. 124, so we're about halfway. I think we've got good. If we have indication of how it's going so far, looks like it's going. The brew itself is going fairly well. So here we go. Got to about 200 grams. Good. And now we're 145. So it's gonna go on. Shake the cone. Is that supposed to be like shake your love? I just can't shake. That's fairly old. That's fairly old. I think that's Debbie Gibson, right? Debbie Gibson. You've got to be pretty darn old to know Debbie Gibson. One of my friends tried to date Debbie Gibson. He was asking her to come to prom. He was actually talking to her, and I was like, dude, you're talking to Debbie Gibson? Rusty Ippolito. I wonder how that guy's doing. Rusty, if you're out there, man, I hope you're doing well. I was always impressed that you were talking to Debbie Gibson. It's getting a little bit slower, the flow, I think, but that's all right. So 264, 240. Oh, you're actually saying shake the cone. Maybe shake the cone. Yeah, now see, so what's happening is that it was faster flowing, and what's typically happening is that your finer sediments that are in the mix kind of fall through the slurry and start to clog the filter, or reduce the flow through the filter. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that happens. So we're 320, 314. I'm going to push it all the way up. No, maybe not all the way up. I don't want to raise. Like I said, I don't like to raise the water level too high. And we're still within a good range. 345. Let's go for that last 5 milliliters. There we go. 350. Very nice. putting the water back into the kettle. Powerplant says, have you ever met David Cho from Wrecking Ball? Nick Cho. Actually, if you're interested, if you go to Apple Podcasts and you look up a podcast called the Portafilter.net podcast, Portafilter.net podcast, or you could just run that through Google. If you look at the episodes from 2005 to 2008, Nick and I were the hosts of that podcast. So yes, I did know Nick Cho very, very well. We were very close friends for those years. Not so much after that point, but that's a whole different kind of story. But I think we've kind of settled some of our differences. Powerplant says he brought Clean Wave to the States. David Cho is the artist. Yes. Mine is blown through my... Yeah, those were heady times. He used to live in DC, where he owned a place called Murky Coffee, and that's really how we met. Because we were all starting out in coffee at the same time. Like it's about 2003, and getting into the same kind of scene. And I kind of heard about him, and I reached out to him. I said, "Hey, man, there's a competition coming up. Do you mind if I come and?" Because at the time, I did not have a La Marzocco, and he did at his shop. And I was like, do you mind if I come down? And so I came down, and I brought my milk with me because I was like, I don't want to use your milk because milk's expensive. And we became good friends after. We were really good friends for many years, many, many years. Okay, so there is our brew, nicely done, in the Benjerong brewer. Very nice, very nice. We'll get rid of that, and then we're going to take that and put this in the sink. Oh. As George was saying, like it almost slipped out of my hands. Yeah, and it is such a nice brew. I do worry about, what if I drop it? That would be a catastrophe. Right. Obi-Wan Kenobi says, I was just getting into coffee, but roasting and just being a home roaster into brewed coffee. Oh, nice. So you're just starting now, or was this before at that time or something? Oh, back then, I see. Okay, Obi-Wan Kenobi says, I always chuckled about you guys giving Coffee Geeks guy a heart. Yeah. Back then, we were all very close, myself, Nick, and Mark Prince, We all kind of drifted apart. But, it happens. No ill will towards any of them. I'm glad to see that Mark and Nick are doing very well. Mark is still doing his what do you call it? Coffee Geeks website. I see that's still running. I think that the old forums that we used to participate no longer exist. Like I don't think it lasted through the years, which is a shame because I thought that we used to participate heavily in coffeegeek.com, as well as there was a site later called Coffeed, Coffee EE with a D. And that had a whole forum that I think it might still exist. And there's a lot of engagement. And actually, like you guys all know about James Hoffman, who you guys call Daddy Hoffman. James is one of just like another yokel participating in the forums, pontificating about lunacy, trying to pretend that we knew what we're doing. So, good times. All right, so here we are. We have our elixir here. Back in 2005. Gotcha. Obi-Wan says no more forums. Yeah, it's sad. Like the forums back then were really, really great. Like I really liked the forums back then because there's a lot of engagement and disagreement, and we would pontificate about ridiculous things, and people would kick back at it, and then we would fight for it, and it was a good time. But then there was always kind of like a sense of getting together, getting along together. So when you finally met each other in person and could put the face to the name, to the screen name, it was always a good time. All right, so let's see here. Nice and nice looking. Nice. It looks like coffee, clean. clear. So let's taste. Good bitterness on the outset with some cacao notes. And not really fruity, more like a dry fruitiness. Maybe like a raisin kind of character to it. Power Plant says, I remember back then the third wave was just creating good old, those are good times. I don't know if like the younger generation of baristas, I don't know where they engage with themselves. I wonder. I don't know if you guys follow around because I don't know. Do they still have some kind of forum somewhere where they can speak, or is it just YouTube? Power Plant says the sweep and tap was the only portafilter the tap. If you look at my this is my portafilter, my personal one, the one that I've had since that era, and you can even see like here if you look closely. This is from the days of tapping. You can see like all the dents and the scuffs in the Delrin insert. So yeah, good. And then for those who may not be familiar, back then, right, we would take the portafilter, and the theory was that you would have how did it go? I'm trying to remember how we did it. So you dose your coffee, distribute, tamp, and then you double tap, right? You would, like I said, tamp, and then double tap like that, because you wanted to knock off any kind of coffee that may be stuck here to fall in, and so that it would prevent channeling, although that probably encouraged channeling because you're tapping it. And then the other thing people would do, some people would do this, and that's why this Delrin insert exists. Reg Barber was like, oh, we need to get something to protect the wood, so he put Delrin inserts for this purpose. Now, other people, if you look at some people's tampers that have it from that era, this one doesn't have it because I never really liked that. It's a little bit worn on the edges, but that's just from like use. But some people would actually tamp, and then they would do and some would do like all the way around, and some would do this. It was still the Wild West back then. Like we were still trying to figure out how to make better quality espresso because we didn't care about filter. Right? Filter, pour over, that didn't really exist yet. Like it existed. Places like Royal Coffee in Oakland, California were doing like pour overs daily back then. But no, those of us in the third wave, we didn't care about that. Filter was like Fetco extractors and the 2032s, and fine, that's fine. What we are about, we are auteurs of espresso. Like if you were not into espresso, you didn't matter. We were kings. We lived like kings back then. Good times. All right. This sounds like Discord. Oh, Discord or Reddit. Okay, gotcha. Our Reddit pour over is all right. Okay. I remember exactly in 2007 when the tap was tapped. Yeah, we finally came to the realization that the tap should not be done. You guys, we are a bunch of charlatans doing tapping. Why are we tapping? Who knows? We're tapping. Ridiculous. Oh, I cannot close that computer because I need it for. Oh, the battery's dead. Okay, well, to go along with the coffee, actually, my mom was like, hey, I baked this cake. Maybe you'd like to use it. I was like, oh, a cake. All right. So here we are. This is the apple cake. I think more historically, it's known as the Jewish apple cake. And this actually is one of the centerpieces of the early days of Spro. So when Spro started in 2006, the first place we opened Spro was in the Towson Public Library in Towson, Maryland. We were able to get a little space for a kiosk. We built a kiosk, and then my mom was baking for us, and she would make this cake, and this cake was wildly popular. So the other day she was like, I was thinking about the cake. I haven't made it in a long time. Maybe you'd like me to make that. And I was like, all right. And so this is the Jewish apple cake. Obi-Wan Kenobi says, holy crap, that was good. It historically has been excellent. Actually, my mom is actually an amazing baker, strangely enough. And I say strange enough because that's not what she does for a living. She actually works. She works all day long and then bakes. Very, very impressive. And I felt really bad because I was like, as Spro progressed from the library onwards, and I built a kitchen in the new Hamden space, my need for her to cook wasn't so heavy because we built a kitchen and I had a baker. So I felt kind of bad by not letting her, or by telling her, oh, you don't have to bake. But a part of me was also like, you probably shouldn't have to bake all the time. You work normally and then you want to bake, but she really enjoys it. So it was always kind of a struggle in my own mind. Like, oh, am I not giving the right amount of respect? Am I like, taking away joy? But I also didn't want to burden her with like, heavier workload of heavier baking. Power Plant says the Sweet Maria guys were ahead of their time. Oh yeah, totally. I mean, Owen Thompson is a pioneer in the business. Pioneer. Thank you, Power Plant. She totally is a hero. Totally is. All right, let's cut into this. And it's got a nice crusty top and I'm going to do this justice by cutting it correctly. Doing the live streams like this is kind of like we're a faceless channel. All right, there it is, the interior of the Jewish apple cake. I guess it's from, a traditional Jewish recipe. I don't really like it when it's like that. I like to put the cake properly. I just love it this way more, right? Like when we present it at Spro, I always want to present it like that. And actually, this is a cake we didn't really have much in Hamden, strangely enough. Even though it was a big mainstay at our Towson location. Power Plant says, yeah, I hear that some people find real purpose in routine and doing things for their family. I know. Slice of that and some ice cream. Oh, yeah, that would be very nice. Ice cream would be very, very nice. All right, let's have a look here. So you can see the layers. Really, actually, that looks, gosh, she hasn't made this in years. It looks stellar. So when I was moving the slice upright, of course I'm handling a little bit. So it's very moist. Like you can feel the moisture. It is. And the aroma. So using Granny Smith style apples. Oh gosh, you have super vibrant, like the apple aroma. Apples are nice and firm still. Oh. All right, Mom. Very solid. Thank you. The nice thing, the apples are still pretty firm. So you get a nice chew and nice resistance, like a nice juxtaposition of textures in the bites. Which for me is always exciting. Like I really love textural juxtapositions in foods. Oh, that's quite good. Oh. I'm reminded why this was a very popular offering at Spro. Yeah, perfect for breakfast. Totally. My goodness. All right, so what do we need to do here? I need to... All right, I'm going to pull up a random number generator. Here it is. I'm going to use the real basic one from Google just because, it's simple and you can see it. So we're going to choose a number between 1 to 100. And so again, let's go back to, we're giving We're giving away this bag, the coffee that we're having today, the bag of the one release of the Annabelle Lee that we do per year. Giving this away, and the Hello Kitty cup, Kitty-chan happiness for Valentine's Day for our monthly giveaway. So choose a number, one entry. Just do one entry. Don't do multiple. One number per person between 1 to 100. Whoever gets closest to the number that pops up on the screen without being over will be the giveaway winner. And then wherever you are, I'll send it to you. How about that? Well, there's a big bite. Wow, that's really good. A little bit of cinnamon. It's good. It's the kind of thing where you, well, like I'm gonna work pound on the coffee because I love the combination between the coffee and the apple cake. So I'll give you guys a couple moments to enter your numbers for the drawing. And just a little reminder, if you have an interest in cigars or you like cigars, I normally do a live stream on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. It's called the Coffee and Cigars live stream on the on the Ono Live channel, which is a separate channel just for that stream. But for that stream, we're going to be having a gathering, a meetup on Sunday at Capital Cigars and Tobacco in Bethesda, Maryland, starting at 2 p.m. So it's on Del Rey Avenue in Bethesda, Maryland. It's a cigar shop, so it's going to be cigars and smoke and people hanging out smoking cigars. So you kind of have to be into that. We'll probably have some coffee. We're going to have, but if you want to come down and hang out with us, you're always welcome. We may have some coffees, but it's going to be mostly cigars and probably a lot of whiskey drinking by a lot of our regulars on that stream. So if you're interested, come join us. Again, at Capital Cigar and Tobacco, or is it Capital Tobacco and Cigar? Capital Cigar and Tobacco, Del Rey Avenue, Bethesda, Maryland, 2 p.m. Sunday, February 16th. We'll be there and love to hang out. Power Plant says, I love a cardamom bun. Oh, I haven't really had much of the cardamom buns. All right, is that everyone that's going to enter a number? 7. We've got Gray Suit, Page, Hobie-Wan, Dev, Power Plant. We're going to pull the numbers. Now, like I said, I'll send it anywhere in the world. So if you want to participate, then you're not in the United States. You're welcome to. Power Plant says Ichiro's Malt is the #1 Japanese whiskey. Oh. All right, Ken, good. I was actually speaking to you, you and Anton, in case you want. I try not to be discriminatory about where we're going to send it, because I would like everyone to participate. So if you're interested in the coffee and the mug, enter your number between 0 to 100, whatever, and then we're going to use the random number generator, and whoever has the number closest to the number generated without going over will be the winner. Kent says expensive shipping. Yeah, but you know what? This is America. Everything's expensive. Everything's expensive. Oh, I know the real your name. That's true. That's true. No, don't worry. Don't worry. I keep everything close to the hip. So here's the top of this, right? Look at this. The top of this, since it's been baking, it gets a real like caramely crisp, not crisp, but like kind of. Let's see. Yeah, a nice, kind of drier, almost. When I was young, when I was a child, we used to eat these dehydrated apple slices that weren't fully like dehydrated to the point that they were crisp and dry, but they were kind of like dehydrated, kind of like leathery. I love those. I love those. That's what this top is like. The apples on the top of the cake have that kind of texture. Oh. All right. Okay. So I guess that's going to be all of our entries. Here's my thing, right? Those of you guys know me know that I'm Filipino. Filipino people have a tendency to eat with our. We have a whole section of our cuisine that we with our hands, right? Like eating with the hands is something that you just love to do. I love to do it. And my predicament is that no matter whatever situation I may be in, like there's always a point where I'm like in the mood to switch to hands, right? Like here, I was using a fork, but then suddenly I'm like using my hands, right? I could be at the most fancy restaurant in the world, and this is what I want to just sit there. Because you just feel connected to your food. But this reminded me of another deal. I've been using my left hand, right? But one of my good friends, Gautam Kambargeri, he's a good friend of mine in Dubai. And as you may guess by his name, he's of Indian descent, and he's an Indian guy that immigrated from India to Dubai. And it's funny because I've known him for many years now. We'll hang out. And I'm very American in the way that I see things, right? So like what I mean by that is that I have Indian friends and they're all from here. They all grew up here. So they're very much like me. And so I'm always like, so I'm hanging with someone like with Gautam. I always forget that he's not like from here. I would forget that he's actually from India and he's just living somewhere else in the world. So but then I remember last time we were together, we were hanging out. He took me to this restaurant in Dubai, and he's eating with his hands. Always the right hand, only the right hand. Like and I guess this is cultural, right? Because this is, like I said, he's directly from India, but his control of eating only with the right hand is so strong. Like I was sitting there, we're talking, and I noticed it. I was like, "You only use your right hand, right?" He's like, "Yep." I was like, "Well." And I get it because you in the culture you use your left hand to wash yourself, so it's considered unclean. So you don't use the left hand. I'm ambidextrous, so I'm just like whatever. I have soap. I want not that they told, but it's just saying that we didn't have that. I don't know. At least in my house, my family, we didn't have this heavy conviction culturally to only use our right hand. The right hand is the more dominant. I don't know why, but I go back and forth. Left hand is for duty. I know. It's so true. I mean, I use it. That's probably TMI. All right, so let's move on to our drawing. And look at this. I pounded this coffee. I don't always drink all the coffee, but since we have this lovely cake that I'm not going to eat any more of. Oh, yeah. Okay, we've got all of our entries. We're going to close the entries. Oh, there's Naomi. Okay, so Naomi, before we do this, you just came at the right moment. So Naomi, our February giveaway is our bag of Annabelle Lee, which is a very, very limited release. Actually, this will be the only release of this coffee this year because I have the rest of it here. It's a very small run that I just did for this particular occasion, and it is a blend of Salvadorian Santa Ana washed and a natural process decaf. So it's kind of a lighter caffeinated drink, and it comes with the Kitty-chan mug. So if you're interested in participating in the drawing, enter a number between 1 to 0, between 0 to 100, and we have the random number generator from Google that's going to generate a number, and whoever's number is closest to the number generated without being over will be our winner, and then I will send this to you. So if anybody else wants to enter a number now. I will wait. Brightman says 55. Maku says 1. Where do we enter? Right here in the comments. Just wherever you put where do we enter? Enter the comments there. If you want to scroll through, you can see all the numbers that have been parlayed before you. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, now you got it. You got it. All right. So any number will do. Wow, we really pounded through that coffee. One thing about the apple cake, it's very substantial. Like I feel full. 60. All right, great. Obi-Wan Kenobi says, I was moving my keyboard earlier. I didn't mean to enter 9, but 7 was my first entry. No problem. We got that. 71 for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, we're going to go to our drawing now. Let us roll here to the random number generator. As you can see, I've got it entered minimum 1. I guess, sorry, maybe it should be minimum 0. I did say 0, right? So minimum 0, maximum 100. So are we ready to roll? I guess we're ready to roll. Saw Coffee's with us. 10. Okay, gotcha. Anyone else for the final moments? I will, and I know that there's a bit of a lag between what I say and it transmits and you hear it. So I will give a few more moments in case anyone else wants to join. Hey, Saul, by the way, I noticed on your channel, man, are you going to make more videos? Like I saw you have some videos. You should make more, man. I'm interested to see your take on things. Okay, so that's going to be it. Okay, we're ready to go. We got all the entries in. Here it's time for the generation. And here we go. Oh, there it is. That's fast. 74 is our number. Uh-oh. Could it be Obi-Wan? Am I correct? So we have, let me just double check everything. Gray Suit says 17, page 37, Obi-Wan 71, Dev 32, Power Plant 99. Kent says 42. Naomi says 60. Baku says 1. George says 55. Saw says 10. Oh, yeah, looks like Obi-Wan is the winner today. Obi-Wan Kenobi, congratulations. We will send this to you today, actually. So do me a favor, so I can send it today. Message me on or DM me on Instagram, onocoffee4, ONOCOFFTE with the number 4. Send me your name and address where to send it to, and I will get it out today. Actually, I've got a couple packages from our website that need to go out, so I'll be doing that after we get off of here. So congratulations. Glad you could win. And don't worry, we'll have more giveaways in the future. And if you come to the event on Sunday, I mean, it'll be cigar giveaways, but, we will have giveaways there too. So we have more giveaways to give away. Power Plant wants a recount. Yeah, you can't fight the force. Yeah, totally. All right, so videos are hard. I hear you. That's why we're doing a lot of live stream, because they're a little bit more less. They're different. They're intensive in a different way. But I hear you. I definitely hear you. Like this main channel, the videos for this channel have taken a long time. Like the one that I'm working on now, I've been trying to finish for the last I've really been working on. Well, I haven't really been working on it, but it takes a long time. It can take a long time. I hear you on that. All right, so that's going to be it. Hope you want to make sure you message me, and I will send that out to you. Everybody else, hope you have a wonderful weekend. It's the end of the week. So back again. We're actually going to be back on Tuesday. Since Monday's a holiday, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and I don't know what I'm going to do on President's Day, but I'll do something. The power plant says, master the one take in videos or yeah, that if you can do it, that's help. Like I've been doing some videos on one of the alternative channels that I have. It's called the Ono Tech channel. It's mostly been about like woodworking tools. And those I tend to do I try to do those very like simply. Even like last week's release on this channel about the Emma Chamberlain, was it the mocha latte? That was pretty much a one take kind of thing, just kind of like, and then just kind of edit out all of the slower parts. So you can do something like that, but all depends on what. Peter says, I chose number 12. It's over. Yeah, it is over. Sorry, man. But it was 71. So unfortunately, you were pretty far away from the number that Google, it was 74. So Google chose 74. And the closest one was Obi-Wan Kenobi with 71. All right. So everybody have a wonderful weekend. For those of you in the United States, have a great long weekend. For those of you not in the United States, have just a great weekend and have a good night. And if you're out there, and by the way, Peter, why are you not out partying? You should be out partying. It's like 1 o'clock at night, right? Go party. Have a good time. All right. See you next time.